it's still pushing down hard. Things have got to change. We need action now from our world leaders, not words. And that's why a global day of action has been called today. And we're here in Sheffield as part of that international movement of protest. And I just want to say it's been particularly called for by Egyptian activists. They're in the country where COP is taking place, where they're facing repression, imprisonment and torture for simply standing up and criticising their government. And protests around the world are facing that kind of repression. And by the way, I think we might be seeing some of that in this country, the way this government's going. My name's Martin Mayer. I'm Secretary of Sheffield Trade Union Council, and I really am honoured to have been asked to introduce this rally today, because the trade unions are a very, very important part of our coalition that we've built up here in South Yorkshire, with a whole range of climate groups, but with workers and trade unions at its heart. Climate is a trade union issue. There's no jobs on a dead planet, and yet the future could be a bright green future with good green jobs, giving some hope to workers and their communities. So we're here today to bring together a whole range of organisations, campaigns, communities in one of the most diverse and collaborative coalitions that this country has seen, as together we face an existential crisis, and we can't let world leaders, never mind our own leaders, get away with it. One of the important organisations that's been at the forefront of our climate justice coalition in Sheffield has been the Sheffield Youth Strike for Climate. The young school students who really led the way, calling for strike action and showing that they're not prepared to accept a climate catastrophe caused by our generation and our previous generations. We've got to leave this planet in a fit state for the next generation. I'd like to introduce Molly Cowell from Youth Strike for Climate. Thanks very much, Molly.
So you will have to excuse me, I'm filling in for someone today, so my notes app on my phone is doing a lot of legwork. So we are in an era of crises. We are coming to terms with our loss, with grief, and with our fear, while wealthy politicians like Sunak fly on private jets to speak empty words to their privileged friends. Together though, we represent the accountability and the change that they fear. They say our actions are disproportional, but when thousands of children die due to toxic air pollution and a dystopian future that makes Black Mirror look like a light comedy, we know that they are running out of excuses. We are vilified by criminals whose privilege has landed them power but not immunity. We win this fight through our resilience, through showing up year in, year out to demand justice. We win by being inclusive, because COP consistently excludes young people and minorities from the conversation. We win because the only way to end a tragedy of the commons is by recognising that it is a direct result of individualism and greed. Being scared of change is only natural, but when it's inevitable, we must fight to make sure that that change is just. It is extreme weather events or reusable energy, a mass famine or a change in agricultural practices, apocalypse or systemic change. The South Yorkshire Climate Justice Coalition is an intergenerational effort. It is a prime example of the unity which can save us. Normal people are scared. Everyone is scared. Even climate deniers. After all, what is denial but a stage of grief? The fight is not over and it may never be over. But every person who comes out today to demand accountability, to fight the greed and the horrors, changes things. They tell us that our generation gives them hope. and that we'll be the ones to change things. But it is nothing but an excuse and a get-out card, because most of us are children. These people are unwilling to change, and we will not continue as normal. They expect young people to continue our education for our future, but when our future is threatened, we refuse to continue as normal. This is why we are calling a strike on the 18th of November, because empty words is not enough. COP is not a victory. COP is a part of the reason we fight. Because COP represents the greenwashing and the corporate greed and the inaction of politicians, which means that we are here a year on from COP26 when nothing has changed. We cannot allow for constancy in an era of crises, because we don't just face a climate crisis, we face a cost of living crisis, a health crisis, an education and a democratic crisis. Things have to change, because they're going to change whether we like it or not. We just have to make sure that this change is just, inclusive, and the change that will ensure that future generations can continue the fight for a better world. Thank you.